We're going to talk about you want to talk about your team, Christian, the San Francisco 49ers next?
Hell
All right,
yeah.
let's do 49ers. So, hitting on the San Francisco 49ers. I won't lie. This team is an enigma to me. It is an enigma because this is a roster that is constructed in a way that NFL history constantly says you should not. It is older,
That's fair.
higher paid players. They are very top heavy. They don't have a ton of depth.
Yep.
But there is a lot to be optimistic about this year.
Number one easiest schedule.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that. I haven't heard they have the
That's
easiest
all.
schedule. Is
That's
that
like
real?
the biggest talking.
I haven't heard that at all. Yeah, that's just not been on my radar. They have the easiest schedule apparently. No, I actually have a joke here about that. Just have you heard about that? Have you heard they have the easiest schedule? No, I think a lot of people last year. Obviously, they went 6-11 last year. They were injured to hell. Brandon Ayuk,
Crazy.
Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey.
Ricky Pearsall got shot.
Ricky Pearsall got shot. I mean, like the list just goes on and on of the players that they lost last year. Jawan Jennings missed time, and then obviously Deebo Samuel was just a total shell of himself. And I think a lot of people are focusing on the Nick Wrights of the world, right? Where they look at Brock Purdy's play and they go, "Oh, Brock Purdy, look, he failed. See, we told you if you took away literally everybody under the sun, he would not be that good." And to be totally honest, he actually was not bad at all. He really was not. It was not spectacular, but that's not who Brock Purdy is.
He's not obviously he's not a top quarterback.
Yeah,
he needs help.
I feel kind of bad for Brock Purdy because there's a couple of quarterbacks we do this to where we understand for the bulk of quarterbacks in the NFL. Well, obviously you need help. Obviously Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Tua, Dak. Maybe not Dak because we hate the Cowboys. Everybody hates the Cowboys, but most quarterbacks we understand you need help if you want to succeed. But for Brock Purdy, it's yeah, Brock Purdy's not going to be that good when he loses every single one of his weapons. And even then, he wasn't bad. There's a lot of data that suggests he was super efficient on early downs. He was actually really good. He improved in a lot of areas in terms of advanced stats. The really only place that he got lost in was his touchdown and interception totals, which his touchdowns were down, but I think they were about the same as Matthew Stafford, and nobody's saying Matthew Stafford's, terrible.
Right? Matthew Stafford is all the love.
For sure. So I really... This was a story about their defense and just the lack of talent they had because of injuries. They went into most of their games in halftime. They were up, and then they'd get to the second half, and they just didn't have the dudes to compete. And I think that really shows you that Brock Purdy can ball. And I think Brock Purdy did prove there's a reason they gave him the contract they did. They were watching the film every day, and they understood that we can win with this guy. We put talent around him, we can win with him. And they have Christian McCaffrey coming back. I don't know, Christian. I've been talking a lot. What do you think? What are your immediate reads on the 49ers?
I mean, number one, easy schedule. Easy schedule. I don't like the Week 14 bye, so that's crazy. They got a long way to go. They are playing quite a few playoff teams in that first half of a huge first half of the season. They're opening up on the road against Seattle. That's not going to be an easy game. The Robert Saleh signing, I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
The times when they were really, really good and made the Super Bowls and the NFC Championships, what did they have, Jake? Can you guess what the 49ers had during those runs?
I'm going to guess you're either going to say Robert Saleh or a top-tier defense.
Both. They either had Robert Saleh or they had a top 10, top 5 defense.
Him and DeMeco Ryans,
I think Robert Saleh, he did coach for the Jets. I am rooting on Aaron and Glenn, another defensive guy. But I think he knows defenses, and I think he can get the best out of these younger players. I don't like the fact that really the only returning player on that defensive line is Nick Bosa. It's just a bunch of rookies and stuff. They've been hitting on that a lot in the drafts. They took Mikael Williams in the first round, Alfred Collins from Texas, took another one in the fourth, CJ West. A lot of people weren't in love with their draft. They were graded up for with a lot of reaches, but I do trust John Lynch. Now maybe he saw something that we know, or like we don't know that he knows. But I do trust John Lynch. But I mean, this is a big, as you were talking about, this very top heavy team. They're tied with the Eagles for the only two teams with 7 players making at least $19 million per year. That's Purdy, Bosa, Ayuk, Williams, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. A lot of those players up in age. Christian McCaffrey, can he stay healthy? George Kittle's getting up there in age. Fred Warner, I still think he can ball.
He's still the best linebacker in football. I mean,
yeah. Trent Williams this is probably his last year. So yeah, very top heavy, obviously, and a lot of their defensive players still have drafted in this year, last year, and previous years still have a lot to improve. I do trust this at least coaching staff. Love the Robert Saleh signing, getting him back. So I'm hoping that can make this defense maybe not top 10, but get back up to that top half of the league. I think it helped quite a bit. Can they stay healthy? Obviously, Brandon Ayuk's coming off a ACL injury. I know we talked about Juwan Jennings. I don't know if he's suffering. I don't know if he has an injury, or is he just he has an injury because he's one new contract after having a great year last year. What was it, like 900 yards or almost 1,000 yards? So yeah, 49ers wise, they are at 10.5 points right now. 10
yeah, sounds right.
I don't see this team winning 11 games, so I'd bet the under. But I mean, I think they're 10.5. That's all. I don't know, man. Like you said, they don't have a lot of depth in a lot of positions here. Their defense is really young. A lot of players making a bunch of money that they need to produce, and it's tough, especially since a lot of these players they need to produce are in their upper 30s. Or Christian McCaffrey, he's in that 28 range, and he had a crazy last year with it's his PCL. It's like, oh no, he has a bilateral Achilles tendonitis or whatever, and then when he finally came back in December, he got injured and was out with a PCL injury. So I would bet the under. I think 10-7, 9-8 is kind of where this range. I would be shocked if they go 11-6. Even though I do believe in this team, I don't know if I'd pick them right now. I'd have to. They got the easy schedule, but I don't know if I'd pick them. I'll have to. We haven't picked the games yet, so I'm gonna wait till then and see how that may lay. But yeah, 10.5, a little too rich for my blood, but we'll see.
Yeah, to me, this team is very strange, and this is why I said they're an enigma, right? Because I genuinely could see this team winning 12 games and still being like 5th or 6th best in the entire conference. Like, I mean, this is going to be a weird year where like they could be the number 1 seed, but they're definitely not one of the best teams in the conference. It's very strange. I do not think this is a Super Bowl team.
I'd be shocked if they get to the number 1 seed.
Well,
to be honest with you, even though I love this team and I think they'll do great things this year, I'd be shocked.
Well, and to your point, you talked about they're one of 2 teams paying 7 or more people $19 million or more. They're also the only team with 3 players making more than $30 million. Now, when the Cowboys sign Mike, or at this point, if that will change, the Cowboys would then be the other team. But I mean, you talked about you trust John Lynch. I won't lie, I'm a little. John Lynch I think he's running out of runway. Like, you look at these drafts.
That is fair.
2022, of the 9 players they drafted, only 4 of them are still on the team. And 2022, I mean, that's not that long ago. Drake Jackson no longer on the team. Tyrion Davis-Price no longer on the team. Danny Gray no longer on the team. Now, they did draft Brock Purdy that year, so, take that for what it's worth. 2023, Jair Brown, Jake Moody, Cameron Latu. Like, those are their top picks that year. Last year, 2024, Ricky Pearsall, Renardo Green, Dominic Puny. So, A lot of these players are pretty young still. Obviously, they're kind of wait and see, but like, you really need some of these guys to pop off. I mean, you cannot be afford to be missing, and none of these players really have popped off. I mean, I'm sure if you're super plugged into the 49ers, you like a lot of these players, maybe, but I mean, bottom line is like, they're not finding Fred Warner in the middle of the draft anymore. They're not finding George Kittle in the 5th round. Like, they haven't been doing that kind of stuff. So they really, I think they need to really hit on some of these players that they've been drafting. And if they don't, again, you're going to see that depth really, really, really tested. And then, as you said, I mean, the things they lost this offseason: Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Charvarius Ward. I mean, that is a lot of defensive talent walking out your door. And offensively, they lost Debo, but how you feel about Debo? They got Brandon Ayuk coming back off of an injury. Now, the good news is Christian McCaffrey is an animal. I mean, that dude is a demon. That dude is a monster. And he really...
I don't know. know.
I mean, if you're skeptical of how he'll be, I get it. But, like, in theory, he is supposed to be the guy that makes your offense go. And this offense does look a lot different. I mean, 51% passing to 55% passing. They significantly pass less to their running backs. 25%, which was near the top of the league, down to 11%. This stat is crazy, though. You look at the yards gained before contact for their runners, right? It was virtually identical in 2023 when they went to the Super Bowl and last year in 2024. But the amount of actual yards per carry was so drastically different. That is literally just Christian McCaffrey. That is literally just Christian McCaffrey creating yards after contact that other running backs just can't do. So Christian McCaffrey coming back, I think you could see this offense return to form. How much to form, I don't know. Their O-line, they just do not prioritize offensive line. It's just not a thing they've ever done.
Really weird because they run the ball like
they do, and their offensive mind. Like Kyle Shanahan is like one of the offensive-minded gurus of the league. Like, you see those guys. Like, there's not many of those kinds of coaches that you look and go, their O-line is not good. There's a couple. Zach Taylor comes to mind, but, Zach Taylor's coaching for the Bengals, so you kind of got to work with what you got. But it's very surprising. So, yeah, as you said, their front seven is where they hit this draft. 4 of their first 5 picks, their first and second pick, Michael Williams, Alfred Collins. The other one that wasn't out of their 5 that wasn't a front 7 player was a corner. So they did not sign many free agents, as you said. Again, not really the cap room to do that. Yeah. So, but I am with you. Like, I expect this team to take a step forward. I mean, I think people are way too optimistic about what this team's ceiling is. I just don't think this team's got the guys that it once did. I think it will be much improved. I mean, I don't think they're going to win 6 games. I don't trust their luck history in terms of injury. It's actually kind of crazy. Over the past 6 out of the last 7 years, they have finished top 10 in most injured teams. They have been in the top 5 4 of those years, and they have been number 1 twice, including last year. So they're a top-heavy team mixed with consistently being injured. That is not a good combo. And you might say, well, last year they were number 1, so they're due for some regression. But the reality is, in 2023, that was the one year they weren't top 10. They were 29th, and that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. So you might look at 2024 and say, okay, well, this year's going to be a correction for that. They're not going to have that much luck. I would argue 2024 was a correction for 2023. So the norm is for this team to be hurt a lot. Like, it just is what it is. And if this team is too top heavy to be losing guys to injury, they have a lot of older players in particular, and a lot of those guys been on a lot of extra games because they made deep playoff runs year after year after year. Like, it's concerning. So I do like the over for them as well. I expect them to win 11, 12 games. Like, I think if they're healthy,
really?
I do. Their schedule is just, I mean, you go through it, it's win. I mean, it's like, how are you going to lose these games if you're playing with all your guys? Like, you just have the better team. But, that's what getting to play a last place schedule gets you, And I think they're going to win a lot of games, and I think they'll be in the playoffs. I think they could even be in the conversation for the 1 seed. Nobody in the NFC is really like, outside of Philadelphia, really, right? Where you're just like, this team is so
Yeah.
much better than everybody else. But I think even if they get there, I don't think this team is that good. I think this team is like 5th or 6th best in the conference, something
What do
like
you
that.
think their What do you think their ceiling is?
I could see an NFC Championship game. If they win 12 games, they get the 1 or the 2 seed. They get a home
Yes.
playoff game. They get a nice matchup in round 2. I could see them going to the NFC Champion. If everything breaks just right for them. Floor, I think there's an 8-win team at their floor. I just do not see them being any worse than that. This team is coached too well. As long as they don't have injuries from hell again, which, hey, it might happen, but I tentatively like their roster. I think it's a good roster. I just don't think it's a top-tier roster.
I think the perfect season would be the NFC Championship, but I think this team is a divisional round team.
No, say that. Haha, it's so cute.
It's crazy because I love this team, and I think, yeah, like you said, with the easy schedule, they should get some wins here and look like a big contender there. But man, this is not the 49ers of old.
No, it's not. This is a new era. This is a new era. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they transition to that new era in the coming years.